Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss about history of Western art, prehistoric time. And in history of Western art, I'll talk about Roman sculpture. It is a part of history of Western art. Now, if we talk about Roman sculpture, then we need to know that Roman people were very expert and they were very energetic and they were very skillful people, and this quality came into their work, their sculptures and their paintings. It reflects. That's why it's very important to know that these people were Roman people were very skillful and they were very genius. They are very energetic. It is very important to know. And second thing is that you need to know that Romans artists copied their work from Greek artists. Even they hired Greek artists to Rome, and Greek artists came to Rome and they started making painting and sculpture. So that's why that Greek tradition also came into their work. So Roman artists copied from Greek art. That is very important to understand. And the thing is that that's why their tradition also followed that. Now, one thing is very important to understand, that Greek artists also showed their quality into their Roman work. Now, if we talk about the characteristics of Roman art, we need to understand characteristics. If we talk about characteristics of Roman art, then we need to know that Roman artists made lifelike sculpture, and mostly they focused on portrait making, and they made sculptures for their basic needs. That's why their sculptures are different. If we compare with Greek art, Roman art is different from Greek art. And Romans made sculptures for their private needs. This is one characteristic. We need to understand that they made sculptures for their private needs. This is one characteristic. And second characteristic is that their portraits were very realistic. It was more realistic. This is another characteristic. It was very realistic, and they made lifelike portrait. It was lifelike. Lifelike portrait. Lifelike means they copied from people. It was absolutely looking like one model is there. It was a copy from their natural work. It was very natural. That is another characteristic. Their work was very natural. Their works were very natural. It was lifelike, and it was more realistic, and they made it for their personal needs. And another thing is that they make it for their specific individuals. It was specific individuals. They made sculptures for specific individuals, means they made it for a particular person. That's why it was very different from Greek sculpture. And another thing is that they focused on facial expression. That is another characteristics. Facial expression. Romans focused on facial expressions because they thought and they felt that the sculpture should be absolutely familiar with. That's why it was very, as I have said earlier, it was different. And when the people looked at their sculpture, it showed that they are looking at a normal person. They were looking at a normal person. That's why they made it very realistic. And another thing is that they did not focus on other people. They focused on particular specific people. That's I have already said, specific individuals. And mostly they used marble. They used marble and other kinds of stone also they used. So they used marble and other kinds of stone. Now, these characteristics we need to remember when we talk about or when we learn about Roman sculpture. I'm just once again repeating that Roman sculpture, it is made for their stick, and it was lifelike portrait. Lifelike portrait, I have already said that it is based on life, original work, and it was very natural. It was not artificial, and they made it for specific individuals. That means they did not focus on other things. It was for their private needs, and they focused on, they emphasized on facial expressions because they felt and they thought that a person's character reflects in their face. So that's why they focused on facial expressions, and they used marble and other kinds of stone. Mostly they have used marbles. This is the characteristic of Roman sculpture, and in next class I'll talk about Greek sculpture, and I'll tell you the difference between Greek sculpture and Roman sculpture. So this is all for today. Thank you so much.